So I've been a full-time content creator here on YouTube for over 4 years now, and I've been hustling, building up my channel and learning these skills for over a decade. So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing 7 steps, like 7 lessons I've learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes, including details about how much money I made, when I made it, and ultimately how I quit my job to go full-time on YouTube. But if we're just meeting, my name is Cannell, and my passion is helping people build their influence with online video. I'm going to be breaking down my story in this video, and it's going to be a little bit more detailed. So this is a good video to take with you, maybe on a commute or when you have a little bit longer to digest this information, because I've packed it with tons of lessons that have been hard earned, hard won. And so thank you so much for being here, whether live or on the replay. What's up, Disneyland Paris? What's up, plant-based dads, Disneyland Paris? Thanks so much for being here. If you're here live or if you're on the replay, we can just dive straight into this content. So this is all about how to quit your job and do YouTube full time. Our mission here on Think Media is to help people build their influence with online video and social media. And I'm going to be breaking down how I went from waiting tables to full-time freedom doing what I love on YouTube. That's me at Red Robin. And actually, well before I started YouTube, I started waiting tables at Red Robin, and I worked there for a total of 10 years. That's a burger place here in America. But anyways, we're based out here in Think Media in Las Vegas. This is some of our team. And in this video, you're going to be learning 7 steps for quitting your job and going full-time on YouTube, how to use the proximity principle. I'm excited to talk about that to go full-time faster, and exactly how I made enough money with YouTube to quit my job. And also, I'm going to be giving away a couple copies of YouTube Secrets. I'll add details in the YouTube description. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video answering the question of the day, which I'll bring up later in this video. And so we'll give away a couple copies of those, and you can check out details in the YouTube description. But let's get into the content right now, how to quit your job and do YouTube full-time in 7 steps. Step 1 is start, right? And there's actually another part to it, but ultimately you got to just start. Now, maybe that seems basic, but I know a lot of us, even some in the Think Media community, that maybe we're still hesitating because of fear. Maybe we think we don't have the right gear yet or any of those things. Look, you got to punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record. But a better way to start is not just start, but start with the end in mind. And so if you want to go full time, it's good to have a vision for where you want to go. And look, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So when it comes to Think Media, I think it's important to mention that I started video in 2002 or 3. I started volunteering at my local church and using video cameras to make these video announcements Wednesday night at youth group. And guess what? They were terrible. Like, your first videos are going to be your worst videos. But when you look at my ultimate journey, that was a massive advantage, right? Because I was learning cameras, I was learning editing, I was terrible at it. And I had time years before YouTube even started to really skill up and level up. But ultimately, you got to just start. You got to learn this stuff. You got to lean in. You got to push past perfectionism and just start. But I also think that starting with the end in mind is important. And the first Think Media video that was ever posted was in 2010. Now, I didn't have a ton of clarity, but I did have a little bit of a direction. And you can see that here, that even 8-9 years ago, I posted on how to get started in video production and video editing, or video editing PC tips, how to build an HD video editing machine. What was I doing on YouTube? I was teaching out of my experience that I had up until that point. So by 2010, I now had been volunteering and doing video production. I'd been on camera. I'd been learning about cameras. And I started a business called Clear Vision Media, where I was doing wedding videos and I was doing video production for other people. So my YouTube channel was like an overflow of what I was doing in my life. It's kind of meta, you know, if you ever, some people are like, Sean, you have a channel about video. It's like, well, no, video was what I started with way before even YouTube started, right? And so I realized that I had some skill in that. I had experience, I had time doing that. And so that's what I started my channel around. And in 2010, I was working at Red Robin, waiting tables. That was my main way to pay the bills. I bootstrapped my business, Clear Vision Media, took out a loan to get some video gear. I had a side project with my friend Jeff Moores called Think International, which was actually a major piece of me learning a lot of YouTube skills. And then I started Think Media. And if you've ever wondered, like, why Think Media? Well, I don't know where we came up with the name Think International. Think Media was at first just the media side over on that channel with Jeff. It was just kind of like a passion. It was actually a nonprofit that we started, and it never really made money. Now, it was a nonprofit, but it didn't even make money for a nonprofit to run the bills. But we learned so much. And what it actually was an interview show with authors, faith-based leaders, and church leaders. So it really, you see video influencers today. I was cutting my teeth in 2010, really learning about interviews and video production and dynamic content and whatever. And so Think Media started as like an overflow of that. And it was like Think International, Think Media. I'll talk about the cameras and the tech and all my experience on that side of things. So I was doing a lot, and maybe you can relate. In fact, tell me in the comments, like maybe you can relate to being doing a side hustle. In fact, what season are you in? Imagine if you're watching this, YouTube is a side hustle, but tell me you're in the side hustle season. Maybe you're in the solopreneur season where you're actually kind of making some money off YouTube. Or maybe you're in the scale season where things are just growing and things are going further for you. But definitely let me know in the chat or in the comments below, because I get the fact of juggling things, right? I get the fact of trying to do multiple things, and you got to just be disciplined, right? And at that time, I knew I wanted to do this. We don't really have time to go into my story, but I was coming right out of the hardest season of my life. In 2009, my wife almost died, and I found myself in the hospital, and we went through the financial crisis, and we were losing our home. So all of this hustle was out of a lot of desperation to provide for my family, to provide for, our future, and to really just figure out how to make this YouTube thing work. And so I see that Youth Man's in the solopreneur season. That's awesome. I see Kelvin starting. I see Happy Ever Nancy's in the solo hustle. Johnson's in the side hustle season. I love it. So we're all kind of in different seasons, but I can totally relate to you feeling kind of like that struggle of juggling, things. And so what ended up happening, and here's a tip for this season, is success on YouTube is found when you use your experience, passion, and skill to add real value to the lives of others. And that's what I was doing. So think about that for you. Write that down and even think about that for you. What is your life experience? What are you passionate about? And what have you developed some skill at or some proficiency at that you can add real value to the lives of others? And maybe type that in the chat. But see, what I had done was, again, my experience was in video. I was also passionate about video. I was geeking out about cameras and lenses, and I developed some skill in video. So that was the natural overflow on to YouTube. I'll be honest though, I actually didn't have as much clarity. Like, hindsight's 2020. I was confused at the time. So if you feel kind of confused, you're in good company, because we probably are all pretty confused, a little bit confused about, what's even happening, where we're going. And so ultimately though, that's where the magic is, I believe, if you want to go full time. And a couple other things to ask if you're starting with the end in mind is there a market for my topic? And are there practical ways to monetize it? So I was like, is there a market for people who are going to want to learn about video, find cameras, all those kinds of things? And the answer, of course, is yes. And then is there ways to monetize it? And I had been learning about affiliate marketing. So the answer was yes. But then another question to ask is, can I add real value in this space? And the answer was yes. I had a ton of self-doubt. I was scared to put myself out there, but I thought, man, I just started this business. I took out a loan for 10 G's to buy all this gear. I didn't need $4,000 worth of it. So YouTube, or rather Think Media, was kind of like it was being the guide I wish I had. I was a little bit further in video, so I was just turning backwards to help people a few steps back from me figure out what camera to get or whatever. That's where your magic is on YouTube. You probably discount your own expertise, but all you need to do is think, what do I have experience in? What am I passionate about? What if I develop some skill at? And how can I help people a few steps behind just come with me and save time, save money, go further faster. And so that was really the sweet spot. And I think that will help you find your sweet spot. And some advice is, look, focus on making money elsewhere when you're starting. Dig your well, but don't drink from it too soon. Now, I'm not saying that you can't start YouTube and make money even in a few months or even in the first month. It happens. And especially when you go through training or you connect with Think Media or video influencers, will help you go faster. But I think it's an important mindset to focus on making money elsewhere. So even though I wanted to monetize on YouTube, I kind of just punted it out of my mind. And that was actually deeply influenced by Gary Vaynerchuk. I read his book, Crush It, in 2009. And it was like, look, just don't worry about cashing in too soon. So here's what I'm saying. Dig your well, but don't drink from it too soon. See, really, it's much more important to figure out your voice, build an audience, build trust, kind of get a rhythm down. And how do you do that? By making money somewhere else. So I was like, look, I make money waiting tables. And here's the thing, you can make so much more money somewhere else than you can off YouTube ads when you're just starting, for example. Like I was like, dude, I'm going to make like if I even turn on monetization on Think Media, this is back in the day too, things are a little bit different now. And eventually once I got to a certain size, if I even turn this on, I'm going to make like $5. If I just treat a table a little nicer, I could make $5 in one night on tips because I was waiting tables. And actually at the time I was a busser, even as a busboy. If I'm nicer to the servers, you know what I'm saying? Like get money somewhere else, like go get a job, like go hustle and then fund like your YouTube ambitions. Just some advice, like focus on making money somewhere else when you're starting. Dig your well, focus more on audience value. And I'm not saying don't turn on monetization necessarily or do affiliate marketing. Just don't focus on it when you're first starting, which brings us to step 2, which is skill up. Skill up. Mastery is the target. We're talking about going full time, and I'm serious about this. Look, this video is not about a get rich quick overnight magic pill. Those don't exist. This stuff does take work, and I really believe that you can make a living around your knowledge, your passion, your expertise, that you can share your message with the world, that this can happen, but it's not going to happen if you don't pursue mastery of your subject. I really believe the reason I'm here today is because I've been obsessed with not just being average at my subject, but pursuing mastery. Being the best. I'm not saying I am the best. I'm saying I'm striving to be the best. I'm in a competition with myself. I want to get better than I was yesterday. I want to always be improving. I want to have the most knowledge possible about YouTube. That's why we've interviewed hundreds of people about it. That's why I read about it and go, you know what I'm saying? Mastery of your subject. And of course, mastery of the best practices. So I realized, man, there's a lot to learn in this YouTube thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, thumbnails and titles and shooting videos and like plugging, where's the mic go? And is the mic on? And how do you actually be in focus and shoot? How do you get the blurry background? And actually it's bad because I was actually blurry, but the background was in focus the whole time because of how shallow that depth of field was. All this different stuff. There's a lot to learn, but just make a commitment when you're starting to mastery. And here's how you could skill up quickly. Number 1, be obsessed. Number 2, practice and increase outputs, and then also invest in yourself. This is how I focused on skilling up. I was obsessed. This is why you really want to be in a place you're passionate about. Like, I work really hard, and that's been imparted to me from my parents. Like, they taught me a good work ethic, and I think just general in life, I just believe we're on earth for a mission, not just to chill, but to actually make a difference and add value to the world and contribute to others. So I do work hard, but here's why it's easier for me to work hard is because I'm in my zone. I'm in my grace. It'd be hard for me to work as hard. But I worked hard waiting tables. Like, you need to be able to muster up work ethic because how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you're mediocre and average at your job, hoping that someday you're going to make it on YouTube, I think that transfers over. I think your spirit anywhere transfers to everywhere. So put out excellence, but I'm saying I was obsessed with my topic. I would be up late nights reading camera blogs and trying to figure out codecs and trying to figure out why stuff wasn't exporting. Like, it was an obsession. So I found my zone. If you haven't found your zone yet, that's okay. keep experimenting, but you want to get in a place where you can actually sustain the hustle because you love what you're doing and you want to get obsessed. And then practice and increase outputs. You know, if you want to develop mastery in something, but you only work on it 1 hour a month, it's going to take you a freaking long time to develop mastery in it. But if you could work on it 1 hour a week, it's going to be faster. If you could work on it 5 hours a week, it's going to be faster. What if you could work on it 20 hours a week? But Sean, I've got, kids and I've got a family and I've got stuff. You may have 20 hours a week that you could still recover. I mean, if you let go of some Netflix, if you let go of some leisure, if you got a little bit more disciplined and didn't call working just scrolling through YouTube and researching other people's content, if you got real focused. And so if you can increase the amount of practice you're putting in, look, if you take more shots, then you get better form over time with coaching and you eventually make more baskets if you're in your grace zone. And so increase the outputs. I was in this season just trying to do as much stuff as I could in my zone. So I was freelancing, I was editing videos, shooting videos, because I knew that I was like, ooh, I like this space and I want to be in this space. So I want to just immerse myself and put out as much content, being as prolific as possible. Today, I've uploaded over 2,000 videos, either for myself or for clients or for churches I've worked for. I've put out a lot of content. When you put out that much volume, you get to mastery quicker. And then invest in yourself. The how to skill up quickly is also invest in yourself. So whether that's courses, books, reading, all those types of things. During all of these seasons, that's what I was doing because I wanted to get the skills necessary to succeed and thrive in this industry. Jim Rohn says, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And so invest in yourself. Education doesn't stop. And by the way, I know I'm preaching to the choir. If you're here on the replay or you're here live on Think Media, clearly you believe in investing in yourself because you could be watching Netflix, but you're here studying to level up your future and your career. So I really applaud that. And I want to encourage you and thank you for being here. But I believe this so wholeheartedly. The average person stops learning when they end high school or college, but you got to keep learning, continuous learning. Lifelong leaders are lifelong learners. So I've never hesitated to invest in books and courses and events because it's what has helped me skill up faster. And so some advice is also volunteer in an organization where you will learn critical, hard, and soft skills. Volunteer at an organization where you will learn critical, hard, and soft skills. What do I mean? I think that as I look back, one of the critical components to going full-time on YouTube and the skills I developed to do it was because I started volunteering at a church in 2003. And whether you volunteer at your church, a local nonprofit, some kind of an organization, or you volunteer at a business, I mean work for free, volunteer at a business or for a YouTuber or for a production house or for a media company, you want to volunteer in an organization where you will learn critical hard and soft skills. What are hard and soft skills? Hard skills are where you will learn YouTube. So the first YouTube channel I managed was 2007 for my church. Little did I know that even though I had no clue what I was doing in titles, I was clocking time. I was developing mastery by uploading videos. And back then there was a 15-minute time limit. So anything longer than 15 minutes, we'd cut into multiple parts. We'd upload those, tagging them, trying to figure out stuff, making a ton of mistakes. But I was learning hard skills like lighting and cameras immersed in this church, but then also soft skills like relationships, leadership, teamwork, how to win friends and influence people, which is a great book, but like people skills, communication skills, soft skills, emotional intelligence. I think you need that for YouTube. I think you need that to succeed. You need to have a vibe where you can kind of sense where people really are, where your audience is going. So I was learning both sides. I want to encourage you. Have you ever considered volunteering? You're sitting around wanting to grow and you may have time. This isn't for everybody, but you got some time. This could be the fastest way that you could level up. I read this in a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, another classic, where he said, look, the fastest way to level up is go volunteer. Plus, you'll get around other leaders, other people. By the way, the best possible people in the world are volunteering. aren't they? I mean, they are, because they have servants' hearts. They're leaders. They believe in something different. They're bigger. They believe in something bigger. They're mission driven. So that one thing snowballed my life to just level me up. Plus the education I was getting there from a spiritual leadership, all of the different aspects. And so consider, this is some advice, volunteer in an organization where you will learn critical hard and soft skills. Hey, if you're getting value, smash the like button on this video and maybe tag somebody, which you can't do on YouTube, but maybe share this. I mean, maybe text somebody or email somebody about this, because I really believe this training is going to serve not just you, but could help a lot of people get some clarity for really crushing it on YouTube. All right, step 3, synergize your schedule. Synergize your schedule. Synergize your schedule means this: aligning your jobs, hobbies, volunteering, and free time with your end goal. So if you have an end goal, full-time on YouTube, creating a living from your passion, turning your creativity into a career, profiting from your passion. If you know that's your target, then you'll get there quicker if you try to position yourself in a job, and if your hobbies are this, and let me know in the comments, is this your hobby? I mean, I'm sure. I know you're probably as passionate about YouTube as me. So maybe YouTube is your hobby. That's a good thing, right? Because then your hobby is also like this thing you're doing on the side. So if your job is leveling you up and your hobbies are moving you towards your goal, and you're volunteering somewhere and that's moving you towards your goal, and you're taking your free time. And by the way, this might seem hardcore, but hey, you're here, and this is, it's one point of view. But I am a firm believer in extreme sacrifice for a short period of time so that you can experience success for the rest of your life. I heard Dave Ramsey put it this way: live today like no one else so that later in life you can live like no one else. I'm experiencing that right now. Why? Because of this. It's hardcore, but my hobbies, my jobs, my volunteering, it was all aligned. So I was on like this fast track because I was just like, I know that this is like the North Star. Like somehow I'm going to be full-time on YouTube. I'm going to figure this stuff out. Let me try to stack everything, because again, and if this is out of your control, it's out of your control. If certain parts of your schedule are unchangeable, then they're unchangeable. But I'm talking about what you can control, what you can influence, right? It's a power principle right there. So this introduces us to the proximity principle. Now, my friend Ken Coleman just dropped this new book, but here's the principle, and I highly recommend it. I'll link it up in the YouTube description. It's a book about the proven strategy that will lead to the career you love. But here is what the proximity principle is. Finding opportunities to do what you love is as simple as getting around the right people and being in the right places. Okay? So the gist of the book and the proximity principle itself is saying, okay, where do I want to go in my life? And once you've defined that, and maybe it's just one target full-time on YouTube. Okay, what people then and places, what people could I put myself around, which could happen through podcasts, YouTube videos, books. That is one way, because you're getting around them. You're getting their thinking, their mindset. But if you could actually get around them by volunteering, by working for them or whatever, and then what places, like what environments or events or volunteer, if you get around the right people and places, boom, it just accelerates you into that desired end goal that you're going for. And so remember the 2,000 jobs and 10 jobs and projects. Red Robin, by the way, not so much the synergy. I had to pay the bills. And what I loved about Red Robin was I found one vehicle where I could work 3 days, and I worked Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I worked 10 to 12 hour shifts, and I only worked 3 days a week, and I doubled all those shifts, and I stacked all that money so I could do church stuff Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and YouTube. So everything we're doing here was kind of split. It was like 3 days at Red Robin, double shifts, about 32 hours a week, and then hustling on my side hustle. Clear Vision Media, my business, making some money from that. But to be honest, I just reinvested a lot of it, like you probably do. As soon as I would make money on my business, I'd be like, oh crap, I'm going to get this gear. I'm going to get this lighting. You know what I mean? And because I knew Red Robin was covering this, making a little money from my side hustle. I didn't write this one down. When I started making money from my side hustle, I reinvested it back into my side hustle. If I made money from my business or affiliate marketing early on, I invested it back into books or into gear or into travel. Or, you see what I'm saying? And so these projects, though, they all align. They had this common theme of video, leadership, business, right? And so I was doing my best to align all of those things together. So here's 5 quick areas where the proximity principle changed my life. Volunteering, I told you about that. Number 2 is starting an interview show. Because Jeff and I started an interview show back in 2010, we started getting around high-level people. And I won't go into, and there's a lot of stories I could go deep into, and maybe let me know if you'd like this to be like a series or some other things. But one of the people we interviewed was named Dr. Dave Martin, who, again, proximity principle. He was somebody doing something I wanted to do one day. He was speaking on stages. He was writing books. He was creating courses and training materials. And so because of that interview show, not only did I get around him at first, but then, like, no joke, like 1-2 years later, I saw him at an event and then like said, hey, someday I would love to like work for you. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then like another year passed. I saw him at another event and then I was like, look, I can help you with YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And it worked out. And eventually he was a side client. In addition to everything else, I was trying to do side freelance projects that would get me closer to my goal, get me around somebody that would level me up, because he's teaching leadership and he's doing what I want to do in my future, the proximity principle. And now I'm also in proximity to his content. I'm editing his videos. I'm getting wisdom. I'm getting knowledge. And I'm getting, and I didn't even care how much money he paid me, because it was the level up, man. He didn't actually pay me that good. I mean, and I didn't demand more, but like I was doing freelance social media on the side for him. But guess what? I'm learning about Facebook. I'm learning what content works, what doesn't. I'm testing different headlines. I'm getting to level myself up and make money from it and get around somebody that is completely shifting and transforming my life. It came because of starting an interview show. And I'd say that even to this day, video influencers, man, it majorly exploded and blew up our brand. And that one did as well. In fact, it led to another job, another career, exactly what Ken Coleman teaches in his book, The Proximity Principle, from getting around movers, shakers, the ambitious, people that don't have excuses, people that are not critical. You got to get away from people that are just negative and just critical. I mean, it's not going to help you go full-time on YouTube, just pessimistic, pulling you back, holding you down. And some of those people are family members, so you still got to spend time with them. And some of those are your best friend and you still love them. But are you spending enough time around positive people and people that are going to level you up and move you forward? It's a major life-changing principle. The third thing is freelancing in your niche. So I wanted to take on clients and people that would help me learn more about YouTube. So again, I never would do it for very much of a fee. I probably always charged a little bit too little, but look, it was short. I didn't care about the money, man. I think it was a little short-sighted to worry about now money. Like I would rather make baby money now so I can make big money in 10 years, if that makes sense. And so I wanted the skills. I wanted to level up. And so freelancing for Dr. Dave. By the way, I met Benji Travis in our small town because we started Think International and Jeff Moore started it and we met at the YMCA. And then I found out his wife did YouTube and then I filmed their engagement video. He texted me a couple days later and he's like, yo, I know we just met because we just met at the YMCA in like 2010, but I'm going to propose to my girlfriend, Judy. Could you help me film it? Yeah. And he paid me like $50. And I came over and I filmed it. And then out of that, we did a wedding series together. And fast forward, now we have video influencers and a book together. But it all started from starting an interview show, getting out there. Now I'm getting to freelance for them. And they're saying, oh, by the way, I've been putting in work in YouTube. I knew YouTube stuff. I knew ranking and titling by this time and SEO because I'd been studying. I'd been investing in myself. And so I'm now freelancing for them. And that's, kind of the rest is history as well. So these are some major areas where the proximity principle changed my life. Number 4 is work for free. I know people sometimes hate on that. I guess the results, where it's worked for me. So I encourage, don't be short-sighted about money now. That's why get your money right in just some kind of job that you're okay with. Like find your Red Robin, the burger place I worked at. Find that place. because I was like, cool, if I can just kind of pay my bills with this and live lean, then all the stuff that I want to do, I can level up and get the experience over here. And so I did a lot of work for free. A lot of the work I would get for like a Dr. Dave or some other people started with some free work to get their attention. And then moving to Las Vegas. Now, you might have limitations, I'm sure, just like all of us on moving. And the reason I moved to Las Vegas from Seattle, an hour north from our small town called Marysville, Washington, I moved to Las Vegas because I got a job working for a mega church. And I'd been working in a tiny church. And now I was working for a church about 2,500 people. So that leveled me up to a whole nother level. But here's what I learned was, just like they say in real estate, location, location, location. Man, your location can be a major needle mover. Now, this I don't want this to make you like, yeah, but like my family's rooted here. You got to move to LA to be successful on YouTube. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, are your dreams, are you serious enough about your dreams that you would be willing to relocate yourself? I've heard stories of like, there's a guy named Grant Cardone who's now built over $1.2 billion in real estate holdings. And his kind of number two guy, I think the vice president of his company is named Jared Glant. And Jared literally flew from like California to Miami, slept on an air mattress, and bootstrapped for Grant. But hey, a couple years later, and his whole life's changed. Sometimes it's a radical shock. It's taking a major move. I'm also not guaranteeing that's going to like lead to success or not. But what I am saying is location matters. And sometimes changing your location, if not permanently, getting out of your environment is just a major key. Why? Get around people and places, the proximity principle. When I moved to Vegas, it was a whole nother level because I also got into an environment of greater pressure. Bigger church, more responsibility, more things. But I was also around the lead pastor. Again, proximity principle, was an international speaker, author. I helped him write and launch books, getting ready for launching my own. I got to travel with him a little bit. I got to sit and hear him communicate in sermons every Sunday. And guess what that did for me as a communicator? It leveled me up. Proximity principle. I mean, majorly. I got to speak a few times there, and then I got to get feedback after. What did that do? Level me up. You know what I'm saying? So like, how do I get confidence on the proximity principle? This is just personal for me. Volunteer, start an interview show, freelance in your niche, work for free, moving to Las Vegas. All of these things helped me get around people and in places that majorly leveled me up, which brings us to step 4, which is smart systems. When you're in the side hustle season, and you want to get to the full-time season, well, the full-time season is kind of a dream because you're like, well, I'm full-time. I can devote my whole time to it. But right where most of us are now, right, watching, is in that side hustle season and juggling 42 other things while trying to bootstrap and make this work. The only way I've learned to do it is smart systems. And here's what I mean. In 2011, we moved to Las Vegas. And I mentioned that, and here was kind of the 2011 to 2014 jobs and projects. I'm full-time. I have a full-time job as a church communications director. I'm doing freelance projects. Eventually, I'm doing some stuff for Dr. Dave. I still flew back, shot Benji and Judy's wedding. Benji and I, this is way before video influencers, but he would, from time to time, we would work on some brand deals, and I would film some stuff if it needed fancy production. And my family was in Seattle, so I could always visit my family and make it a work trip too. And as I went into my position, by the way, because I had some pre-existing brands, I negotiated even into that kind of contract. I said, look, I'm going to crush it and do my best and really deliver value here, but I'm passionate about freedom. And it was nice. You can't always negotiate that, but it was nice because as I was getting into that job, I had some pre-existing things. I brought it up from the start. So it gave me a little bit of margin for freelance projects. Not even much though. I'm still doing them in my spare time, but, and then it was YouTube as a side hustle. So by the time I'm freelancing for others and I have a full-time job and I'm trying to do YouTube, you get it. It's hard. It's really tough. You're running your, circles trying to do all the different things. And so here's a few tips. Batch producing content. I'm not going to go into that here. We'll link some videos in the description about it. You've heard us talk about batch producing content. It's don't just shoot one video, shoot 4 at a time if you can, and then release one a week for 4 weeks. And there's a month's worth of content captured in one day, right? And so people go, well, how do I batch if I vlog? You don't. Just don't vlog. Like do something. Like, I mean, you have to build this thing around your life. Like if you always say, how can I? And there's some sort of impossibility, rework your strategy. So create a like almost template, create a show on YouTube that is sustainable. Make sense? I heard it said once that the problem with an unsustainable pace is that it's unsustainable, right? And so like a sustainable pace is like, okay, so to do this, and I'm going to give you some tips on this, but create literally a plan to say, if I only got 10 hours a week to do YouTube, then here's what I'm going to do in those 10 hours. Have you define that? Figure out how much time a week do you have to do YouTube. In fact, tell me right now in the chat, how much time do you have? Get real honest and maybe chicken scratch it out. Like if you're really honest, how much time per week do you have to devote to your YouTube channel? Some of us, you know, you might be on here, you're a single mom and you're like, not a lot. That's okay. Just be realistic about it and take those 5 hours that you're doing after when the kids go to sleep and be relentlessly protective of them to work on your YouTube channel. You know, define, just get clear on how much time you have. Plant-based dads, 1 to 2 hours a day is the time I'm putting into this. That's great. A day, that's awesome. And that makes sense. I mean, you maybe get home instead of doing X, you in leisure stuff, you work on your side hustle. I love it. 1 hour. Is that 1 hour? Maybe I didn't say a week. So 20 hours devoted. So Gwen, that's amazing. So I would take that 20 hours and then think, okay, what exactly am I doing in this? You know, Harshell is 15 hours every day. Dude, you got 15 hours. You can deploy so much hustle against that. 16 hours a day, some people are saying, you know, so we're kind of all over, but please define it because we do ultimately need to be realistic about this, right? And then ranking videos. Now I'll mention this a little bit later, but we've talked a lot about ranking videos. That's when you type in a search term, best camera for YouTube. And on the other side of the search term, a video shows up. And if that's your video, then you get views while you snooze. The most important aspect, I believe, of getting to full time is creating leverage. What do I mean by leverage? Creating things that will work for you when you're not working. So a ranked video is that. If you don't have much time, but you can put out a video that will get views for weeks, months, and years to come, then while I'm at my job and while I'm freelancing, while I'm doing other things, then my YouTube channel is growing and making forward progress, even if it's slow, because of ranked videos. So that was another one. We'll touch on that a little more later. And then also be realistic and embrace life's seasons. So I really mean that. Like, don't be too hard on yourself if you're like, well, I'm full-time at university and I have 15 kids and I have 14 family members living at my house and 16 jobs. Why can't I find time for YouTube? Probably because of what I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you really need to be realistic and realize life seasons are different, okay? And so a mistake I made though, and it's a major mistake, and I see it as like a pandemic amongst entrepreneurs and creatives, and it's this: doing too many side projects, including YouTube channels at once. So when I have this full-time job and I'm freelancing, we were still doing Think International. Not a lot, but every once in a while we would go to a conference, shoot some more content. I was uploading stuff on my Sean Thinks channel, which is like not even a thing right now. But like we daily vlogged for a while. I mean, again, I was getting a lot of experience. My wife and I about killed myself. We daily vlogged for almost 50 days, like in the midst of all this. But when we did that, there was no Think Media videos. When we did that, there was no Think International. I was spread too thin by doing too many things. Clear Vision Media, I was still doing some projects there. And then Think Media got a video here and there. This is no joke. I had 4 like YouTube channels right around 2011, 12. And there was kind of no wonder why any of them weren't really taking off. Because if you try and chase 4 rabbits, you'll end up catching none of them. And so these things were kind of going everywhere. Now it was helping me skill up, but it was also causing me a lot of stress. And so what I would encourage you, I see this all the time. I really don't think you should be working on 2 YouTube channels, especially 3 or 4. And I also don't think you should be trying to grow a YouTube channel if you want to go full-time on YouTube, while also like podcasting at some major level. And then you also are trying to keep your blog up and you're also like doing a bunch of stuff on your website and working on random projects, because I was doing all kinds of random stuff, like just trying to make stuff work. But I just wasted so much energy and time. When you are in the side hustle season, you got to be sniper focused on what you're doing. So if I could do it all over, here's what I would do. I would focus on one YouTube channel. I would upload one valuable video a week. And I would do that by doing batching. Okay. So I would be more focused on like, this is how busy my season is. I needed to sit down and record 4 videos. And in hindsight, it would have been Think Media. It was the strongest brand. And I was kind of blind to that, because where people wanted the video tips. But again, I was pulled in all these other directions because of projects I started. I'll be honest with you. I'm good at starting things. I really struggle with stopping things. You know, one of the reasons why Think International, I kind of kept it going with Jeff, even though I was in a season where I probably shouldn't have, was because I had put my blood, my sweat, my tears into it. And it was just kind of hard to let it go. But to be honest, you may need to let some things go right now so that you could focus on what matters most to you. The analogy in nature is pruning. Sometimes you got to prune the tree, which is painful, cutting off things you're doing, cutting off projects, maybe cutting off relationships. I don't mean in a rude way, but like you just can't, if you're giving your time and your energy away to everybody else and everything else, then how can you get momentum on your YouTube channel to hit your goal of going full time? Sometimes you got to prune, but when you prune back, it's painful at first. And it actually is almost like, shoot, now I got less, but it creates the infrastructure for you, for that life, that plant to flourish, that tree to grow bigger and better than ever before. And so getting really clear, focusing on one YouTube channel, uploading one valuable video a week, only using social media to support my YouTube channel when starting. Not trying to like, oh, social media expert says IGTV is hot. Well, cool. And it is. And I'm pumped about it. And like, it's getting more views now because it's in the news feed, but you can't do freaking everything when you're in your side hustle. So I would use social media to support my YouTube channel, but I'd be focused all on that YouTube channel. See, I was like trying to dabble everywhere. And if you're dabbling everywhere, then you're dominating nowhere, right? And so then I'd also cut out distractions, cut out just little fringy things and get hyper focused. If I could do it all over, because here's the good news. I'm telling you this journey of 2010 to basically now and this path to full time. Friend, I think you can get there way faster. Our commitment here at Think Media is our mission is to help 10,000 people create a full-time living doing what they love and making a difference using online video. And we've had tons of stories already of people that are doing that, whether they've been going through our content or our like academies, like our Video Ranking Academy or these different things. And so our passion and belief is that while we don't believe in overnight success, we really believe we can shave 75% off of your journey. Like my journey, which actually starts in 2003, is all of this pain and weird roads and distractions and doing way too many projects. I'm here. That's what this training is about, is so you could go further faster. And so if you were to take 75% off of a 10-year journey, it's still going to take like 2.5 years. I just want to shoot straight with you. Some of us will go faster. Some of us it's going to take 3 or 4 or 5 years. Some it's going to take 7, but no matter what, like if you were set on your goal, how worth it is you? Like how worth it is it to you? Like you get obsessed to say like, I will until, and maybe there's a light bulb for some of you that's like, shoot, man, Sean's got like a couple other YouTube channels that didn't work out and he was willing to prune to focus on the YouTube channels that are working now. Thank God for the experience I learned on those other channels, but I had to let them go, maybe reposition myself out of a different niche, reposition myself, focus on one thing. And that might be a key for you to breaking through and finally building the momentum you want on YouTube. And so here's a great reason why Think Media didn't start growing until it did. And by the way, YouTube analytics is a little sketchy in the uploads. I definitely uploaded videos between 2010 and 2013, which is what you see over here. They just don't register in old analytics for some reason. But here's the gist. When did all this blue and Think Media start to blow up and grow to over 800,000 subscribers? When did that happen? It happened when I started uploading videos. Like, I mean, that's what the graph shows. It's like, if you want to succeed on YouTube, you got to upload videos on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, that's like so true. That's what you ultimately have to do. And you can see it that when I got consistent and started posting, it started to go up, go up, go up, go up. And so in hindsight, I'm like, dang, I knew a lot about you. I'm helping other people grow their channels. I'm doing a lot of other things, but I'd spread myself so thin, it delayed my progress massively. And so when I started posting videos on YouTube, that's when the results came. Remember, focus stands for follow one course until successful. Get clear, get focused, niche down, and follow one course until successful. Hey, if you're getting value out of this video, can you smash the like button? Tyler, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Gerald, thanks for the super chat. Marie, thanks for the super chat. Focus. Follow one course until successful. Okay? And so you might be doing too much. You probably are. Even in your side hustle. Your side hustle time is so precious. A lot of you said I got 5 hours. I got like 1 hour, a day. I got like 10 or 15 hours. You got to get sniper on the time you have to be focused on the just minimum effective dose and then deploy that. And that's how you're going to get to full time faster. Step five. On this journey, your goal is to eventually hone in on your sweet spot. And what I mean is narrow your niche and serve a specific audience. Find your sweet spot, narrow down your niche, and serve a specific audience. So when I started Think Media, at first I was like, I had actually like seemingly a lot of clarity back in 2010. How to build a video editing PC, how to get started in video production. Then I wandered off into some world of like interviews with social media experts, and it was cool, but it got weird for a while, just different kind of things. And then it was like kind of dark for a while. I'm working on other projects. But eventually I found my sweet spot. I want you to remember, I'm compressing almost a decade into like an hour, right? As we hang out. And so eventually though, it was like, okay. And when I started Think Media, I just said, Think Media, helping you go further, faster in media. That was my tagline. And while that actually was pretty decent, at least it was like sort of made sense. It was also very vague. Like what exactly is media? And yeah, I want to go further, faster, but like, so eventually today, it's now helping you with the best tips and tools, the strategies and the cameras and the lighting for building your influence online. And so we talk about gear and we talk about strategies. But even in that process, there are nuances to our brand and the things that have worked for us that I discovered. And here's what it is. This is one of them. 6 years ago, this was a big aha moment. Put out a video called Best Camera for YouTube. To this day, it got about 250,000 views, 6 years old. So now we're talking like 2013. But here's my clarity. Camera reviews for everyday people. Like when I found like my thing, like that was it. Camera reviews for everyday people. And here's what I mean. Here's a big unlock that I experienced. A big lesson is that your audience is infinitely more important than your competitors. And what I mean is care more about, here's a way to put it in business. Care more about your customers than your competition. Okay. And so at first, what I learned early on YouTube was I had a lot of fear of judgment, a lot of fear of what other people would think. And I had like this desire I felt like the people who were creating content, the people that were reviewing cameras or talking about gear, and there wasn't many actually, but the people who were doing it, I thought at first I was trying to impress them. And I also thought when I would watch their stuff, I was really worried if I said the right thing. Did I call if I reviewed a laptop, did I say the RAM speed was fast enough? Was it an HDMI input or was it an output? And I would get sometimes comments from tech experts that were like, you said the RAM was DDR2, but it's actually DDR3. And I'd be like, okay, bro, you're right. And I'm not even faulting you for pointing it out, although you are kind of a jerk. But what I'm noticing is like, you're obsessed with all this kind of stuff, but here's what I've learned. I'm figuring out that my audience, Think Media, this community, and the people who were watching back then, I'm not trying to reach other tech experts. Guess what? If they're an expert, they're probably not going to listen to this guy. All I know is I'm a small town college dropout, that has some experience in video and that knows this YouTube space and knows creators. So it was camera reviews for everyday people. And here was the switch. Instead of saying like how to get depth of field in your videos, it was like how to get a blurry background. Why? Because everyday people say blurry background and they don't know what depth of field is. When I started to do camera reviews that were empathetic for the audience, for like people who didn't want to be tech experts, but just wanted to know, will the camera work? Will I be in focus? Does it have a flip screen? Can I easily tap the flip screen? Can I plug a mic in easily? Will it sound good? What are the settings? So just keeping it really basic. And when I got out of my head and stopped worrying about my competition and started focusing on serving a specific person, like a specific audience, that's when everything blew up. And here's what's crazy, or it's when things really started to grow, is I found my sweet spot. If you search best camera for YouTube, think media, this is like how sweet of a spot this has been. I mean, this is how many best cheap cameras versus DSLR. I mean, you could see, you find your sweet spot and then like work the thing that's working. Every once in a while, some hater on Think Media will be like, you've kind of made a video like this before. I'll be like, have you ever watched the largest YouTuber, independent YouTuber? His name's Felix. Dude, he makes some similar videos. And so again, worry more about your audience and your community than your critics. But if something works, work it. And when you find your sweet spot, I kept compounding those videos year after year. So that was just a major key to going full time, because I dialed in to my sweet spot. Your audience, two things are narrow your niche and serve a specific audience. So I began to narrow. I also began to learn at first, I was about tech everything. I was about tech, a few headphones, which they still find their way on here, but like a few headphones would find their way on there. Some random, I'm trying to forget, like anything at CES would find its way onto my channel. But I began to narrow and I realized there's so much tech, 3D printers, all these smartphones, all this stuff, MKBHD, all these other channels. I began to say, okay, no, this is just tools for creators, the best tools for creators. I'm going to talk about cameras, light. I'm not talking about 3D printers. I'm not talking about tech. There's so many tech LED lights, like for your home, smart home, home theater. This is not what you find here on Think Media. It was randomly like that in like 2013, but I began to narrow my niche into tools for creators. And that was a huge unlock. And then I began to serve a specific audience. I said creators. And those creators that are like doing gardening channels and makeup channels and homeschool channels and like Bible studies and all those different things. And they're not trying to become camera experts, man. So I wanted to start serving you and let the experts, if I say the sensor, size wrong or like not the quite right, I know you don't care about the exact technical terminology, because what you've learned, I get messages all the time. Bro, thank you for mentioning the M50. I'm in love with it. And to this day, the Canon M50 is still one of the best cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's serving real people. Be obsessed with serving a specific audience and then just block out all the other noise and clutter. Because guess what? They're actually not even really listening or paying attention oftentimes anyways. But your goal is to become known for one thing. And here's what I learned. I started to become known as like, oh, Sean, like, dude, that's the guy that like helped me pick out my camera and my lighting. Oh, he's like the camera guy. Or like, oh, that's like the YouTube guy. Or that's like the guy that like, he's the guy that like will help me, set my YouTube channel up. What are people saying about you? You want to go full-time on YouTube? You need to become the yoga tips girl. You're like, well, I do a lot more than yoga. Yeah, but if you want to become known, you got to become known for one thing. If you really want to blow up and grow, you got to become, niche down. If you try and reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody. And the world is so noisy, it's harder and harder than ever before to do variety content. Am I saying it's impossible? No. Am I saying you personally should not do variety content? No. To each his own. I'm just saying what I've learned. And I've seen this prove true across industries, even social channels, networks, businesses. You got to become known for one thing if you really want to break out. So what is the one thing you're going to become known for? Oh, that's the person that helps me with taxes. Or that's the person who is super funny. Like they make great comedy videos and one drops a week and I always laugh. That's the person who is like that weird family that lives off the grid and is like homesteading. And it's so cool to watch. Like, you got to become known for one thing, like really brand yourself, really position yourself in a niche. So when I started to become like, oh, that's the guy that's going to help me with gear, it changed everything. Hey, if you're getting value, we're in the home stretch, hit the like button. share this out. And thanks so much for being here. And I hope you're enjoying this content. I'd love to hear from you. Marie, thanks for the super chat. And Anime, thanks so much for the super chat. Super pumped you guys are here. Hope you're getting value. And we're going to keep going here. But thanks, Sparks family. I see you. Gwen, I see you. Late to the show. Great to see you. Let's keep crushing these tips. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give you the question of the day so you can enter to win this too. So we're going to give away 2 copies of YouTube Secrets. And this will help you go full-time on YouTube. We break down the 7 C's of YouTube success in here. Whole second half is about 10 different ways to make money on YouTube. A lot of cool stuff. But I want to give 2 copies away. We'll ship these to you. And so the way to enter is you leave a comment. Now, actually, it won't work in the live chat. You have to leave a comment on the video once it's here on replay. And then just answer this question. What is your ultimate goal for being on YouTube? Now, you can post it in the live chat. Just come back and post it later. And then what we'll do is I'm going to pick out 2 of just my favorite comments, and we'll message you in comments, and then we'll make sure to get the book. So have your notifications on YouTube on. We'll reply and say, hey, you won, and then we'll get those out to you, and there's details in the description about that as well. But the question is, what's your ultimate goal for being on YouTube? Start with the end in mind. Look, it's okay to actually not go full time. It's okay to do YouTube as a hobby. It's okay to do YouTube and just find out a way to make an extra $5,000 a year, an extra $10,000 a year. You know, maybe you can't live off that, but how cool would it be to just have like kind of a side hustle hobby that you could do that? It's a big reality. Maybe you have an existing business and you want to use YouTube to support your existing business. Let me know your ultimate goal for being on YouTube, which brings us to step 6, side income streams. Side income streams. And by this point, you might be like, yo, Sean, show me the money. Jerry Maguire. If you don't know the reference, then that won't make sense. But that was a classic movie. Tom Cruise, show me the money. Okay, I'll show you the money. How did I actually go full time? Well, I did it with YouTube and affiliate marketing. And here's how it worked. My first payment from affiliate marketing was $2.12 in 2010. Amazing. That's how you retire right there, right? Like, no, of course not. But this is actually really my favorite payment of all time. Obviously, I like it to be a lot bigger than that. But the reason it is because that was proof of concept. When I made my first $2 online and 12 cents, I was so pumped. I was like, dude, no one in my freaking neighborhood made $2 online this month. And maybe they did, but probably not. Like, my neighbors aren't hustling on YouTube. They're not doing affiliate marketing. They're not figuring out this stuff. I was like, dude, I made $2.12. What if I could double it? And then what if I could double it again? Right? And so I want to encourage you, don't despise small beginnings. When you make that first dollar online, and let me know in the chat or in the comments, have you made your first dollar online? When you make that first dollar, it's proof of concept, because if you can make one, you can make more. And so my first payment from affiliate marketing was $2.12. And this is why it's important to dream big, but start small and act now. Because a lot of, and I want to encourage you, if I can, this is kind of more of like a coaching kind of, I just really want to encourage you. There is the season that most won't make it through. And it's that sacrifice season. It's the $2.12 season. And the reason why is because people give up before the breakthrough. When you look at the timeline I'm describing to you, this, like your dreams, your aspirations full-time on YouTube, opportunity, I heard it said once this way, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. Yeah, you got to have big dreams. But when you get a $2 check, you go, that's not that big. So you got to start small, but you got to act now, and you got to keep acting, keep posting, keep hustling, and keep focused and say, look, I'm not worried about this $2.12. It's all bonus because I'm not focusing on making money on YouTube. Remember that? Because I've got my bills paid, because I'm going to go hustle and wait tables, and I can make way more than $2.12 by going to work at Red Robin and picking up a shift. But what I did was I worked the minimum amount I could at Red Robin to pay my bills, hustle, make tips, and double shift. So then I could go home and make $2 for like 100 hours of work, right? You know what I'm saying? Because some of you put in the work and you haven't made any money yet. You got to press through that season, because as you climb out and you get on the other side, that's where all the accolades are, right? That's where the magic happens. By January 2013 now, I'm making $259.90 That was a good month on Amazon affiliates. Now I have a full-time job and I'm freelancing. So I'm making an extra $260 in a month. Let's go, man. Like, Sonia and I are like, hey, like with my wife, this is amazing. So that's not like retiree money. That's not full-time money, but that was the progression for me. And again, I was delayed because I was spread all over the place, and I could have grown this a lot faster, but I was so scattered. By 2015, February, $901.16. Cool, right? And that was December. Why? Affiliate marketing, holiday shopping. Like, it just usually goes up. And so almost $1,000. You want to talk about a happy Christmas? Like, we're talking an extra $901 on top of having a full-time job. Now my side hustle stuff, I'm like, dang, this is like legit. This is really happening. And then I went full-time starting November 2015. And so check it out. Here's February 1st, 2016, but you get paid about a 3-month delay on Amazon affiliates. So now in the beginning of 2016, 4,704, 3,879. And that was, when I say full-time, I technically went full-time as kind of an entrepreneur at the beginning of 2015. And I had 3 main freelance clients. But then what happened in October is they fired me. They all fired me 1 a week for 3 weeks. And I say fired, 2 really fired me, and 1, it was kind of just a transition. They were hiring some other staff and whatever. And the same thing with the other people. They were like, we don't need you anymore. We're transitioning. And so it wasn't like burnt bridges, like everything's still good with all those people. But the point is, we lost 90% of our income in 1 month, and I was freaked out. But as I look back in hindsight, that was when I went all in, and that's when this happened. Because right in like November 1st is when I got started working, and I just started making videos, talking about tech right around the holidays, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that kind of stuff. But then boom, and we had a little bit of savings. So the first couple months weren't that great. You know what I mean? Like a couple low months, 1,564. This is not a great like pay your rent and everything else month. But after a few months, it kicked in and we started to make a little bit more. Now, here's another thing, is this is also why I'm not that big a fan of YouTube ads. There's very few niches where it's super relevant, especially at first. Between November 2015 and February 2016, an additional $839.43 from YouTube ads. That's over November, December, January, and February. It's like a 4-month period. So like an extra $200 a month, which is great. But it was like, cool. Like, we'll just let that happen. I almost ignore it. I'm like, we'll reinvest that money back into the business, back into the channel, back into my personal development, all that kind of stuff. Affiliate marketing is the thing that is happening. And so that's what I want to encourage you. You want to find your stream. You want to find a stream. Affiliate marketing is amazing. I think we should all do it. But it doesn't work as good in every single niche, but there's so many things that do. I mean, whether it is crowdfunding or Patreon or brand deals or YouTube ads, because you have a channel that has high view, like kind of like a prank channel or something like that. But whatever it is, yeah, find your sweet spot. And a couple tips: turn streams into rivers. So if we're going to follow one course until successful, step 1, start some YouTube videos. Step 2, eventually find a way to make money and make your first $2. That's not even a stream. That is a trickle. That is like a dried up riverbed. And you're like, oh, look, there's drops of water going down. But man, I hear the sound of rain. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? And so you see those drops, then you want that to be a stream. Then you want it to be a trickle. People that focus on multiple streams of income too early spread themselves too thin. I found out what was working. And I was like, okay, I know how to rank videos. I know that I'm doing tech reviews and I'm doing that kind of stuff. I know about affiliate marketing. I know about YouTube. I'm going to get this thing. I'm not going to try to do anything else. I'm going to get this thing. So when I lost my clients, November, December, there was all in. I worked 60 to 80 hour weeks, videos. Because I realized if I can upload more, and maybe 2 videos didn't even do that good, but 1 crushed. If I can get more outputs out, if I can upload more, if I can do more research, whatever, turn streams into rivers. You want to find a little trickle and get it gushing. And what sometimes people do is they get their trickle to a stream, and then they actually starting another stream. And so if you're making $200 a month in affiliate marketing, for example, you don't want to take your eye necessarily off the prize on that thing. what you want to do is actually keep focusing on that thing until that stream becomes a river, instead of just having a bunch of baby streams everywhere. Makes sense? So really staying focused. Tip 2, momentum and compound effort will lead to bigger checks and bigger opportunities. You've seen it here. You saw it on my affiliate account, right? It just started to compound. It just started to grow. And now that year, 2016, I hit 6 figures in affiliate marketing. I believe. I got a screenshot for you actually. And so, okay, probably not that year. That year was probably like 80K. But see, by November that year, 11,165.39. Pretty cool, right? So then definitely I think by the next year is multiple 6. And by that year, a couple other income streams. Yeah, it was 6 figures. So all of the proximity principle and all of the groundwork I laid and all of those things began to really come into fruition at that jump off point in 2015. And so, okay. And so, yeah, streams, side income streams. Notice when this is happening. We talked about those different seasons. We talked about those different steps, but eventually you want to get your streams generating, right? You want to get your streams happening. And I don't have time to go into how to rank videos, how to make money on YouTube, affiliate marketing, and the exact strategies. But I just want to put this on your radar. Some people in our community have seen this and they've been raving about it. But I have a 1-hour masterclass that's way more about YouTube. This is kind of about how to go full time in life and the whole thing. If you want my best strategies and specific tactics for getting views, ranking videos, and if you're not sure what that means, you'll want to see this, then I do have a free training. It's our masterclass that normally exists inside of our private communities, like our Video Ranking Academy community. But we've taken out an hour of that training and you can watch it entirely for free. So if you're interested in that, then this is what it is. It's 3 strategies for growing your audience and income on YouTube in 2019. The new rules of YouTube success, my proven system for getting views on YouTube 24/7, 3 creative ways to earn an extra 1,000 per month, other ways besides affiliate marketing, and then some case studies from how 3 regular people used a simple YouTube strategy to quit their job and create a full-time income. So I teach all of that. Make sure to check this out. It's at thinkmasterclass.com and you can watch it for free for a limited time. And so check that out for specifics on ranking videos, getting more views, getting subscribers. And let's move on to tip number 7, which is step out. Let me give a shout out to What's Up Michael's Bag. Thanks for the super chat. The Vagrant Vegan Show, All This Tech, Smart Drive Test. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the support for the channel. And I'm glad to get all this feedback as well. I see you in the live chat, Dr. Brad and Mag. And hey, smash like if you haven't yet. And if you want to check out that masterclass, Heather and my team just linked it in the comments. But step 7 is then step out. You're going to love this. Step out. So how do you know when to go full time? How do you know when to step out? Well, for me, I've learned some things since then. I told you my story. My jump into full time, I'll be honest, I was scared. And I'm sure you feel the same. I mean, self-doubt, can I make it? Even with results that we had. I mean, Think Media, when I jumped out, we had 16,000 subscribers and we're a little over 800,000 now. And 16,000 is solid, but scary. Like, wait, this is going to be like your full-time job? Like your mom, like, wait, you're doing what? Like, how are you going to support your family, Sean? Like, you're like, look, I got these 16,000 subscribers on YouTube, trust me, mom, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of scary. I'm so thankful to God that as an entrepreneur, which is what you are if you're a YouTuber, you just really are. Like, you're building something on the side and your neighbors aren't. And that's not right or wrong. Like, you just want more. You aspire to do something. You don't want to just be a consumer. You want to be a creator. And so, any entrepreneur creator that steps out, there's a point when you have to jump off the cliff. I'm thankful that I got kicked off. You know what I mean? Because I could have went back and kept freelancing, but that was the tipping point. No longer having freelance clients and I didn't have a job. So now in November 1st, 2015, I'm like, I got no boss. All I got is time on my hands now. I got no more freelance clients. I'm all freaking in. And I was just desperate and hungry. And so I just went all in. At some point though, you need to make the jump. But how do you know when to do it? Here's my advice. Define this, and really define this. Pull out a piece of paper or your phone right now, whatever, and write down how much do you need to live on. Most people have never done this. Most people that want to go full time have never done this. How much do you need to live on? And not like that Jay-Z, Beyonce lifestyle. You're like, well, the private jet and the crystal. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like, how much could you live on? This includes your dependents. This includes other things, but really define that number that you would need to live every month. I knew back even during that time, I was scared because we had freelance clients and we're living in Vegas. Cost of living is pretty good, but also as independent entrepreneur freelancer, all of our insurance was on us, right? Healthcare, health bills, everything, business taxes, just everything, because it was all on us. So we had to come up with that number of what do we need bare minimum to live. And if you were willing to bootstrap a little bit, and I'm not talking about like, we're not going to eat, which was not what you would do, but of course, like you got to eat, but like really lean. Like if you could be lean for 12 months, 24 months to position yourself to go full time. And so define that figure. Is it $4,000 a month? Is it $2,500 a month? Because is it $1,500 a month? Because you can sleep on a couch and your friend's giving you a free room. Like, or are you living in the heart of Manhattan and you've got 8 kids and an apartment and you need $250,000 a year to live like at the base level? I mean, that's where you live. It all matters. But you really need to figure out that target. How much do you need to live? And the move might be to actually reduce your overhead. Remember, like what if you moved? What if you downsized your life so that you could upsize your YouTube dream? You know what I mean? So define how much you need to live, and then check this out. Apply the 25% rule. Apply the 25% rule. I'm going to go with $4,000 for easy math because I'm not good at math. If you need $4,000 a month to live, then I recommend the 25% rule. And that is this: as soon as you've hit 25% of your target minimum monthly income, how much would that be? $1,000. Meaning you're hustling on YouTube, you got your side hustle, however you're monetizing, when you know 4,000 is the target and you hit 1,000, it's your jump off point. It's your jump off point. Because if you can make 1,000, here's what you've proven. You've proven you can make 25% of your monthly income, which by the way, at this point is in addition to the monthly income you're making, right? Because the point of this video is quitting your job. So it's assuming you have a job. That's what we're assuming, right? And so if you don't have a job and you can just hustle from home, I know all of our circumstances are different, but your job is paying you 4,000. Your side hustle has now earned you 1,000. Here's what you've proven. You've proven that in your spare time, by punting leisure, by being disciplined, by being focused, by obviously getting subscribers and viewers and getting some things, you've proven that you can make $1,000 a month, by the way, 25% of your target. What happens when you go all in from that point? You'll make it. Make sense? Because now you don't have, I just talked to somebody on a coaching call and there's like ability to do private coaching with me. It's kind of expensive. But that's on my website. But I was doing a private coaching call the other day and I was talking to a person who had a 2-hour commute both ways to work and then a full work day. And the person actually had a background in entrepreneurship and some other things and different ways to make money. And I was like, bro, you need to buy some time. I was like, what happens when you don't have that commute anymore and when you don't have work at that job anymore? It's game over, because I know you're a hustler. I know you know what to do. And if you're applying the 25% rule, that means you've already hit a financial target. Makes sense? So you can go freaking all in. And now that's what happened to me. Like when I went all in, I was able, I'm not saying forever, but I was able to work insane hours to build in the other 75%. Now, of course, the disclaimer here is please don't email me if this doesn't work out for you. Nothing is guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying like this is some universal law. Like Sean said, 25% is like this magic. I'm not saying it's a magic, number, but it is a formula. And I think it probably is resonating with you because you could see that makes sense. Like if I can prove that I am good for generating 25% from my side hustle, then man, when I go all in it, then I can get that thing to my full-time income. And man, it's freedom. Like as soon as my clients let me go and I went all in, I was like, dude, this is Christmas every day. That's how I feel. To this day, I feel that way. Just, I live in unreal gratitude because of the hustle I've put in to get where I am today. And so that jump off point, when you're able to wake up, my commute now is, about, well, I have to go down to an espresso machine first. So it's like that. But if it's straight from, to get to this office is a step over Rosie, my Chihuahua, a step over Sophie, my Chihuahua. And then I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I say that just because this is possible, especially if you make a plan. Like it can be practical, define how much you need to live on, and then apply the 25% rule. When you hit that target, of course, if you got other decision makers in your family, please talk to your spouse about this, whatever, of course. But then make a plan and jump off. And at some point, what happens is that's still really scary. Well, what if the other money doesn't come in? You know what I told myself when we went all in? I was like, look, we're 6 months away from bankruptcy, meaning all of our savings would be gone. Like when I lost my clients, I was like, this is either going to work or it's not. But what's the worst that could happen? I could get more clients. I could go get another job, or I could just go work at Red Robin over here because I am lethal at Red Robin. You would be too if you spent 10 years there. I still know the whole menu. You know what I mean? Like I am the master of bottomless fries. And so that's something they have there. So anyways, know when to go full time, do those tips. Remember, overnight success never happens overnight. I know it seems that way as people just pop up and blow up on YouTube. Overnight success never happens overnight, but most people underestimate what they can do, or most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5 to 10. And so when you set your mind on this and you get focused and you follow these tips, you can do this. You could do this. All right. Now I have a couple questions that Heather pulled out that are just super relevant, but I want to give you the question of the day again. And that is, what is your ultimate end goal on YouTube? And CLBO asked this: what if we become known for something, but later in your YouTube career, you want to change that, but we lose a good portion of our audience? It's a really good question, but like, what if a meteorite hits your house right now and you can't, even make more YouTube videos? I'm not trying to belittle the question. I'm just saying at some point you got to just take action. It's good to to think things through, and you don't necessarily want to become known for, but here's the deal. Like, I'll tell you what, I am deeply passionate about personal development, leadership, business stuff. Some of those things obviously weave in here on Think Media, but it's not what this channel is about. This channel is about cameras. So I have worked myself into a corner, but it was worth it. You can always start another channel. You can always use your current audience. By the way, what happens if you get known for one thing and you build up so much influence? I'm sure some people from Think Media will want to join me over on Sean Cannell when I really unleash the business, personal development, leadership content that I want to do over there. Guess what? Even in my career right now, I've got a team, I've got time, I've got freedom, I've got money, but I'm not doing stuff on my Sean Cannell channel. It's just sitting over there stagnant. Why? The power of focus. Follow one course until successful. This thing is going great, but it's not dialed in, and we only have so much time. What's my point? Is just saying that, what do you think with the email list we've built and the social media we've built and the Think Media stuff we've built, if I wanted to start another channel, again, just put yourself in my shoes. It's totally worth it to go in, to get to that place of profit, to get to that place of prominence. And here's the secret of niching down. When you niche down and you become known for one thing, later in your life, you've basically purchased the authority and the influence and the audience to actually transition and to become known for more than one thing. So Dave Ramsey's actually a good example. 25 years in his career now, he helps people get out of debt. The baby steps of getting out of debt. He has a radio show, Getting Out of Debt. Well, he was just the get out of debt guy, but today in his career, he's got a whole empire. He's helping people with their marriage. He's got his Entree Leadership podcast with other people on it. People ask him for advice about spirituality. He's the money guy. He could write a book probably about anything and his fan base would buy it. Make sense? So it can seem scary to niche down and seem like it's limiting, but that's ultimately how, when you niche down and you limit yourself, you'll blow up when you stay at it. And then from that place of prominence, you will now be able to launch other projects with real influence. I hope that makes sense and serves you. Hey, if you enjoyed today's training, please smash the like button. Lovo TV, thanks for the super chat. And if you want one of these copies of YouTube Secrets, answer the question of the day in a second. And then also check out this masterclass. I realize, and I'm going to go through the live chat as we turn this off, and I would love to hear some of your feedback even here live. But did you enjoy like this kind of training? I know it's a little bit different, a little more from the heart and just kind of my story and some of my journey. But I realized it didn't get super tactical, although it was in a lot of ways, as far as YouTube exact strategies. And so if you want some of those, definitely watch this next. Like there's a link in the description below, Think Masterclass to watch it. And you could get my 1 hour training about specific tactical strategies, 3 of them that are working right now to get those subscribers and get those views, because obviously that's going to be critical to you going full time. So check that out at Think Masterclass. The question of the day is, what is your ultimate goal for being on YouTube? I'm going to pick out a couple of my best questions. So leave a comment on the replay. I know it's frustrating. Like you can tell me in the live chat, but come back. It'll be ready to do that in a couple minutes, and I'll get you you'll be entered to win one of 2 copies of YouTube Secrets by answering the question of the day. NG, thanks for being here. Ultra Human, really appreciate you. Maximalist Minibus, thanks so much for being here on this live stream. And here's the question of the day. What is your ultimate goal for being on YouTube? Answer that in the comments below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to check out our playlist with some tips on how to start and grow YouTube, click or tap the screen right there. If you want to watch another video from Think Media, click or tap the screen right there. Appreciate you guys. Keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.